Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Previously, we'll introduce our group members and myself, Ina Lestari, and other group members, namely Putri Salsabila, Indria Kirana, and Cynthia Wulandari. We will discuss about a character namely Jabir bin Hayyan. History records that Islam has contributed a lot to the development of science. It was through the work of Muslim scientists that world civilization found a point of light. One of them is in the fields of chemistry and pharmacy. Not many people know that in this field a Muslim scientist has had a big influence. He is Jabir bin Hayyan, who is known in the West as Jabir. His full name is Abu Abdullah Jabir bin Hayyan al-Kufi al-Sufi. Other sources mention it as Abu Musa and not Abu Abdullah. Jabir bin Hayyan was considered to be the most appropriate representative of Arab alchemy or chemist. In the early days of his development, he was born in Kafah, Iraq in 721 and died in 815. Jabir was a man of Arab descent, but some say that he was Persian. His father was named Hayyan, a pharmacist from Kufa who later moved to Tus. His father's name is often associated with political intrigues that occurred in the 8th century, which eventually led to the overthrow of the Umayyad dynasty. This great figure, known as the father of modern chemistry, is a Muslim who specializes in chemistry, pharmacy, physics, philosophy, and astronomy. Jabir bin Hayyan's greatest contribution was in the field of chemistry. This expertise he got by studying at Barmaki Fizir during the reign of Harun al-Rashid in Baghdad. Jabir bin Hayyan was able to change the perception of various natural events which at that time was considered as something unpredictable into a science that could be understood and studied by humans.
He developed systematic experiment technique in chemical research, so that every experiment could be reproduced. Jabir emphasized that the quantity of the substance is related to the chemical reaction that occurs. So it can be considered that Jabir has pioneered the discovery of the law of fixed properties. Other contributions include improving the crystallization, distillation, calcination, sublimation, and evaporation process, as well as developing instruments for carrying out this process. Jabir ibn Hayyan has been able to change the perception of various natural occurrences which at the time was considered unpredictable into a science that humans could understand and study. His discoveries in the field of chemistry have become the basis for the development of modern chemistry and chemical techniques today. Jabir ibn Hayyan invented hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, citric acid, acetic acid, distillation technique, and crystallization technique. He also invented the aquaregia solution by combining hydrochloric acid and nitric acid to dissolve gold.
Jabir bin Hayyan was able to apply his knowledge of chemistry into the process of making iron and other metals, as well as preventing rust. He was also the first to apply manganese dioxide to the manufacture of glass. Jabir continued to work and experiment in chemistry diligently in a laboratory near Bawadah in Damascus. With the characteristic of his quantitative experiment. Even the instrument used for his experiment he made himself for metals, plants, and animals. It was in his laboratory that Jabir managed to find major discoveries that were very useful to them. Even in that laboratory, his various chemical equipment had been fallen. Inside was found his chemical apparatus, which is still enchanting, and a fairly heavy gold bar. Not only did he create extraordinary discoveries, but his thoughts were also very influential for other Muslim scientists, such as Al-Razi 980, Tuqai 1280, and Al-Iraqi 1380. In fact, not only that, the books he wrote were very influential for the development of advances in chemistry in Europe.
Some of Jabir ibn Hayyan's discoveries include hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, citric acid, acetic acid, distillation techniques, and crystallization techniques. He also invented the aquaregia solution by combining ida and nitric acid to dissolve gold. Jabir ibn Hayyan was able to apply his knowledge of chemistry into the process of making iron and other metals, as well as preventing rust. He was also the note that heating wine would produce flammable gas. This then provided a way for Al-Razi to find ethanol. If we know the metal and non-metal groups in the classification of compound groups, then look at what Jabir did first. He proposed the following three groups of compounds: spirits, which evaporate when heated, such as camphor, arsenic, and ammonium chloride; metals, such as gold, sulfur, lead, copper, and iron; and stones, which can be converted into powdered form. Jabir bin Hayyan's works do not only write about chemistry, but also about almost all branches of science that began to develop rapidly during his lifetime, such as logic, mathematics, medicine, physics, and others. His written works, amounting to more than 80 books or treatises, translated into Latin. Yet it was his work on alchemy that made his name soar all over the world, and chemists in the Middle Age, Jabir's studies on alchemy were translated into Latin and became a standard textbook for European chemists. Some of them are Kitab Alchimia, translated by Robert of Chester, 1144, and Kitab al-Sab'an, Barthelot into several books entitled Book of the Kingdom,
Book of the Balance, and Book of Eastern Mercury. Some of the technical terms discovered and used by Jabir have also become part of scientific vocabulary in the international world, such as the term alkali others. Some of phenomenal works include Kitab Al-Kimia, translated into English as the Book of the Composition of Alchemy, Kitab Al-Sab'an, Kitab Al-Ramah, Al-Tajmi, Al-Zilak, Al-Sharqi, Book of the Kingdom, Book of Eastern Mercury, Book of Balance, and many more. Okay, that's all from our group. Thank you for the attention, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.